So, guys, this is episode 4 of Ask Big Frank, and I could not think of a better person to have on than a hero of mine, IFBB Pro Ian Harrison. Guys, let me tell you that, and I've told Ian this before. When I was laid up, all right, most of us know my story, and when I was laid up, after a car accident, I couldn't move for years. I lived through magazines. I lived through, old tapes, videotapes of the Mr. Olympia and the battle for the Olympia, things like that. And Ian Harrison was one of my heroes because he was one of the guys he was a taller bodybuilder, just a monster. And what people don't realize, Ian, is how young were you?
I retired at 28. So, yeah.
I mean, but you turned pro at what age? 20.
I was 20-year-old when I won the British. So I had an interesting amateur career. I competed. I had a lot of success as a junior. So I won the NABA Junior Britain at 19, and I won the Junior NABA Universe at 19. But that was the exact same year that Dorian Yates won the British Championships and got his pro card in the opposite federation because I was in NABA. So I decided to switch federations and go to IFBB and compete with that. And I was still a junior. I was 20-year-old. So I went into that. My first year of politics was kind of against me. But I went in and I won the heavyweight at my qualifier. And then my second show in the AFBB was the British Championships. I won the heavyweight, and then I won the overall and got my pro card. There was just one pro card a year. One person a year got the pro card back then. The overall winner. So yeah.
Did you know Dorian at the time? Like, did you know you just know of him?
I just knew of him. I just seen his pictures in magazines. Back then, honestly, the NABA Federation in England had the kind of gnarliest physiques. You'd have loved it. It was proper gnarly. They were really the more hardcore bodybuilders back then. And Dorian was the first guy really that came in and kind of turned people's heads. So I switched federations. So did Eddie Elwood. You know who Eddie Elwood is, right? He won the NABA Universe. Eddie Elwood switched federations, and we both had a crack at it, and it didn't work out as well for us. But you know what? It was fun.
Now, what about your friend? You were friends with Charles Claremont too, right? He was a personal.
Yeah, me and Charlie have got on really well. Have you ever met Charlie?
I haven't. He's one of the few that I never got a chance to meet. But of course, I followed him because I know you guys were. I think you guys went one after the other at the Olympia, right? When you guys took the stage. Right, you were.
I can't remember the order that we went out on stage, but Charlie was a great guy. I loved his physique. I looked up to him as a junior. He was the NABA Pro Universe winner the year I won the juniors. So to then turn pro and end up being on stage with, I'm a junior and he's the NABA Pro Universe winner and I'm a junior. So to be on stage with him years later was surreal. But he was such a nice guy. I mean, I have a funny English saying: if he got any more laid back, he'd fall over. That guy I never saw him stressed about anything in his entire life, and just a nice guy and a great physique,
That's
and
awesome.
I think we were just both at that time. It was a very, very stiff competition back then. There was a lot of good bodybuilders, but even back then there was a lot of politics, and it got to the point where I was 28 years old and I had a wife and a daughter, and you know how that goes, where family takes priority, and I had to weigh up what I was putting my family through as to what I was getting from it. And it got to the point where I'd look at a lineup and you knew exactly where you were going to play. So I just called it a day, and I don't regret it. Then I started wrestling, and I met all my
that's the next thing I'm going to. So how did that come? How did you start wrestling?
I knew a lot of wrestlers in my hometown of Leeds. There were Danny Collins, Drew McDonald, a lot of old school wrestlers. Dave Finlay, who actually runs backstage at the Raw or SmackDown now. He's the talent guy.
It's Fit, right?
Yeah,
Fit Finlay is where he goes by.
Yeah. Well, I wrestled in Germany with Fit, and I wrestled all over Ireland, and I met Fit's dad. And the company that I wrestled with was real old school. Oric Williams was the promoter. He was bow-legged. He just loved to fight, loved old school fighting things.
Sure.
And he ran at the island. I mean, we used to go to Ireland, and there was no other promoter wrestled in Ireland. Just our promotion. And I learned a lot. It was fun. I met a lot of very interesting characters. And it was weird because, I met a lot of guys who were like playing Road Warriors or playing Sting. And then I ended up moving to America, and then I ended up being like best friends with the real Road Warriors and meeting all these guys. And it's kind of weird how things turn out.
Now you had your own persona, right? You didn't do any copying. You had your own.
Yeah.
What was?
They called me the British Storm is what they monikered me as.
That's awesome.
It was okay. I actually, when I wrestled for a federation called the XWF, Jimmy Hart was my manager, the Mouth from the South, and there was the Nasty Boys and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Roddy Piper to come up and train us, and it was just cool. A lot of the old school, and I don't know why.
That's awesome.
When I went in there, I instantly got on with all the old school wrestlers. It was weird. It was just like, I don't know what it is. It was just instantly we got on, I'd room with Mike, which is Hawk, out of the Road Warriors, and Hawk. Mike was, before he passed away, man, he was the most best guy you've ever met. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met him, but he was one of the nicest, crazy as a hatter, but just a nice guy, the first time I met him, tell you a funny story, the first ever time I met him, I was at Bushwhacker Luke's house. I'd just moved from England. And I just started wrestling, so I finished bodybuilding. I'm up there in bodybuilding, and now I'm down here in wrestling. Yeah. And I'm on a balcony, on Luke's balcony. I think it's the third or fourth story. And Mike comes in, and he's like, starts telling me all about Ken Clouds and stuff, and just talking all about, just going on about all crazy stuff. And then the next second, he like pops 5 Somas, knocks him back with some Jack Daniels, and gives me a big hug, frothing at the mouth, and tells me he loves me. So we got on from that day on. Just super nice guy. Super nice guy.
I think a reason, I think you'll agree, we're both big guys, right? And I think we're both very humble people, so we're easy to get along with. A lot of times when people first meet us, they think, oh, Jesus. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then once they get to know you and they realize what a good guy you are, it's very, very easy for us to get along with people. Plus, I'm sure a lot of those guys, they had to have respected you, your size, where you were coming from, and everything. I'm sure they asked you a million questions on.
It's crazy, I actually did when I first moved to California from England. So I wasn't even in Florida, and I was still wrestling, and I got a call off Fit. Dave Finlay called me. He said, I've got you a dark match at the Staples Center. Do you want it? Wow. I had to be there in an hour. So I drove from my house. I had to go to the Staples Center. And I had to go on. I can't remember who I went on with. But I had to, the dark match is the first match of the night. That's televised. Yeah. The video, they don't put it on live TV. And I went up there, and I'm backstage, and I'm nervous as hell. And there's a chiropractor there, and he's a bodybuilder. So William Regal walks me around, because William Regal knows all the guys that I used to wrestle with in England. He knows them very well. So William Regal's like showing me around. I'm getting my ankles taped. I'm thinking, this is awesome. So I walk down the corner, and the chiropractor's there, and he sees me, and he says, Ian Harrison, it's an honor to meet you. Really loud, right? And round the corner, there's like The Rock, Undertaker. Yeah. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, be quiet, because I felt like The next thing, I'm start watching the monitors. There's a tap on my shoulder. It's John Cena. John Cena.
Really?
John Cena taps me on the shoulder. He shakes my hand. He said, Ian Harrison, it's an honor to meet you.
Wow.
I know. How cool is that? How cool is that?
Well, back in his day, he worked at Gold's Gym.
Yes.
And he did one of the first commercials for Gold's Gym. like way before he started acting or anything.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Well, his brother, Matt Cena, actually came down to train with me with a IFBB Pro bodybuilder who's passed away now called Mark Antonek. And he came down to my gym, and I trained Matt about 3 or 4 times before I realised it was John's brother. He didn't tell me he was his brother. And then the 3rd time he came down, he wore a WWE T-shirt. So I looked at him, and I looked at his face, and I'm like, "You prick! You didn't tell me." and then he goes ahead and tells me that him and John had a picture of me on their bedroom wall as kids.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that
crazy?
It's just,
and you hear things like that, and you're just like, and I know you. I know what a humble, just awesome guy you are. So to hear something like that, it's almost surreal, right?
It's weird, yeah. It's really weird. It's cool. It's really cool.
I think
but you know what? At least I got something to tell my grandkids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what I want to talk about, because I think we already learned, we've already done an interview before. I was on your show, and I think you and I could talk for hours. I think we did talk for hours, but I mean, we could just go on, and we should probably do a few more videos talking about different things. But what I want to talk about in this specific interview is, now you have a show coming up. You're running the PCA, right? Physique Culture.
Physique Culture Association, yes, and I'm leading the USA part of it. So we're overseeing all USA promotions.
Now, I wasn't aware just how huge they are in England. Like they're it, right? Are they not the top in England right now?
Absolutely, but they're not just in England; they're in over 35 countries now, and they're really going. It's taking off. I've never seen a federation take off like it. I'll be honest with you. And they've just taken over. They're just opened up in Japan. They're in South Korea, South Africa, Australia, Finland, most of your Baltic countries, and obviously America's a big market. So I actually went over to England about 2 years ago with Eddie Robinson for the NABA Universe, and unbeknown to me, Ryan Alexander was at that show, and I got a really good reception because I'd not been to a NABA show since I was 19 years old, you know, and a lot of people didn't even recognize me for obvious reasons. I've aged a little bit, but basically what happened was, when I came back from that show, I ended up having a conversation with Ryan Alexander, about an hour-long conversation, and he told me everything that was happening in the fitness industry, within the federations in the United States, within all the politics that was going on. And I was gobsmacked. I didn't realize, I honestly wasn't aware of what was going on and what had been going on, because I'd really not been involved with bodybuilding up until that point. So I sat back and watched, and everything he told me that was gonna happen happened. I sat and watched with my mouth wide open. Everything to the T, what he said happened. And I watched the PCA grow literally by the day. I saw more countries being added by the day. And I started getting really excited about it. And I watched what they were doing. I watched how they were promoting their athletes. It was about the athletes, not the promoter. It was about, you know, it was really truly about the athlete, and it should be. And, it's, so I decided that I asked Ryan if I could be involved. And he said he would like me to head the US. The whole of the US, which was a big shock to me, but I was up to the challenge. So within a few months, I sold my gym. I am now 100% just PCA. So that's
your full time.
If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right, or don't do it at all, right?
Amazing. So,
now,
I have a question. Actually, a lot of people have been asking me questions, because you see, since we've spoken, I've almost every week I'm leaving posts for the PCA for you guys, because I believe in what you're doing. I'm very happy with what you're doing. And what I love is, I think this is the first organization, I have not seen one single attack on any other organization. In other words, you guys have IFBB pros that come to your show, that guest pose and do different things. You're paying homage to the IFBB pros, but then just saying, here's another option. Correct?
It's bodybuilding.
I have not seen you guys do one single bad, negative thing at all in any way, and I think that's amazing.
We don't. I don't have to. That's not what we're about. We're not about trying to cause a war. like you said, we're trying to give people options. You know, not every federation fits every person. And right now in America, and for a lot of time, there's only been one federation. And it's not that that's not a good federation, but we're doing things differently. And the way we're doing things may suit other people. And I think it's for the first time, honestly, Frank, that anybody's really come in with a federation that really had the legs. This is not just me trying to set up a federation in Mayaca, you know, in Florida. It's like I said, there's over 35 countries. There's a lot of countries with a lot of money. China, there's been a show in China 3 weeks ago. They had over $200,000 prize money. It was in the open air. The backdrop was a mountainside, and it wasn't a backdrop; it was actual mountainside. Amazing. I mean, they're just doing things differently, you know, a little bit differently, and that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to give athletes another option with prize money, options to travel. Because of all the countries we're involved in, we've already given 10 invites out, I think, or maybe 11 invites out to the World Championships in England in October. Well, some of these athletes probably would never have got that chance, and they're good athletes. They're really good athletes. And we're probably going to be giving a lot more invites out at my show, hopefully, as long as the standard's good enough. And that's the thing, it's all about having a good enough standard. Our pros look like pros, they stand out. That we don't want, you know what I'm saying, that there needs to be a definite distinction. We're not allowing crossovers in our shows, because what's happening is bodybuilders are going down to men's physique and they're winning it because of the biggest, but that's not the criteria for men's physique. It's bodybuilding's bodybuilding, classic bodybuilding's another thing. You know, they've all got different criteria, and it's really the only person that benefits from doing the crossovers is the promoter, and not the athlete. And we're just trying to do things that are in favour of the athlete. Every athlete at our shows is going to get comparisons. Every athlete at our show is going to get 60 seconds on stage. It's just, you know, you need time to be able to showcase your physique. We allow more poses in certain classes, like the men's physique and the figure. We actually allow overhead poses so we can see muscle, we can see what's going on. It's not just a cardboard cutout, you know.
I love it.
You know, I think it's more real and it gives more people different opportunities, that's all.
Yeah. And you guys also, I believe I read this, once you pick a division, that's it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like, can someone...
No, there's no crossovers. We don't allow crossovers. So basically, we're not allowing a bodybuilder to do the heavyweight men and then go into the tall class men's physique. It's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong. People.
Now, you guys, do you do workshops and things like that for people who might be confused as to where they may fit? Do you have workshops so that people can take a look at you and say where you belong?
Yes, absolutely. We've been doing them nearly every weekend, but we're also saying to any athlete, if you're not sure where you fit, simply send us a picture in or a short video, and we'll tell you where we feel you fit. Also, just like the PCA do in England, if we get an athlete, let's say we get the bikini class comes on, and we have two bikinis. We have bikini and train bikini, so it's like a crossover between bikini and figure. If we get a bikini girl that comes on that's too lean, too ripped, she should not be in that class. She should be in the train bikini. So we will actually pull her off stage and we'll move her into the right class. Because if she stays in that class, she's going to be marked down. She doesn't fit the criteria. We're not going to change everybody else's criteria to fit the athlete. We're going to move the athlete into the right class.
And you're doing a fair thing for the athlete, because instead of like other organizations where we'll just mark her down and be like, oh, well, next show, come and try something different. Right then and there, you're putting her where she belongs so she can be fairly judged.
Exactly. Now, we're not guaranteeing.
I don't know anyone that does that.
No, they don't. But you know, a lot of this, Frankie, is just common sense, and I can't even claim to have the credit for it. Ryan Alexander's the genius behind all of this. Honestly, is the simplicity that he approaches everything with. It's just common sense. This has all been made too complicated, way too complicated, and it's just about being fair, doing the right thing, and that's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Now, this is going to be. I'm not sure how you're going to take the question, so I'm just going to ask it. What has been the relationship with the organization? Now, you know, I'm talking about like NPC, IFBB, whatever here. Are things okay? How do you handle something like that? Like, are they giving you a problem? Are they fine with it? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? How is that going? You know, like,
honestly,
have they said anything about you starting in the U.S. or do they just leave you alone?
nobody said anything to me. I'm sure
Okay.
plenty's been said, you know, around, but nothing's been said to me. And I haven't heard anything negative to me. I've been very surprised, actually. Everybody that I have approached has been very responsive. The only time I've had a little bit of, and you're going to have that. I mean, let's face it, the NPC's been the only federation around for a long time, so people are going to be loyal to it because they're scared not to be. Because where else are they going to go if they're not? You know, there's never been another option. So I understand people's, you know, reluctance. And what I see is I see a lot of athletes sitting back and watching what's going on. They're watching. They're sat on the fence watching.
They want to see what's going to happen.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. If I was, you know, in my early 20s, and I was, you know, I was. This might sound awful. It used to be a sport, and it turned into a business. When I still believed it was a sport, I would have been like, no, I am not going with any other federation. But a couple of years later, when I realized it was a business, I would have been like, wow, I wish this had been around when I was competing, because it's giving people real opportunities. And so no, I haven't got any direct backlash, nothing direct. The biggest thing, honestly, is fear. A lot of the athletes are scared, and they're trying to scare off some of the other athletes, trying to imply that they'll be maybe not judged fairly if they compete with another federation. Yeah, that's the look I got on my face when I heard that as well. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what I don't have to say anything. It is what it is. But you and I know, both me and you know, that legally they can't penalise anybody for competing in the federation as an amateur. They can as a pro, not as an amateur.
And we both know, you know, there's no surprise. I was with a company. I was helping a company out for a little while, and their marketing director is very heavy NPC and IFBB. Wasn't happy when I had the interview with you, but I was going to do it anyways. You know, people like that, and there's no need to mention names. We know who I'm talking about, but
and isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
People like that, they put out videos and put out things almost trying to scare people, saying that there's only one organization and things like that. And if someone tries to like promote another organization or at least speak in good favor, you know, they say, oh, well, you're against the NPC and IFBB. But here's the thing that's funny is I'm pro athlete. Okay. So I believe wherever someone's going to fit in, that's amazing. Now, the NPC has done great things for a lot of friends of mine. A lot of my good friends are judges. I have a lot of IFBB pros. You are an IFBB pro. And I would say that someone who's actually a pro, their word has a little bit more value than someone who's just, let's say, reporting about the organization. And all you're doing is you are offering another avenue for people to take if the NPC and IFBB is not their fit. But here's the thing that's funny is I don't want people to get the wrong idea and think, oh, well, maybe this is just like a lower level for the people who couldn't make it to IFBB.
No,
I've seen your pros. I've seen your pros, and without a doubt, I really don't think that there's one pro that I have seen that could not step on an IFBB pro stage. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The thing is, they're maintaining the quality of the pros. They're not going to give pro cards out like 50, 60 at a show. You know, it's going to be very, very limited, and you're going to have to reach a certain standard. Another thing, a lot of the things I love about the PCA is the principles that we stand behind. You know, once a pro reaches pro status or gets a pro card in PCA, there's no fee. You don't pay a yearly fee. You've earned the right to be a pro. If you want to enter a pro show, there's probably going to be an entry fee, but you're not going to pay a yearly fee to maintain that luxury. You've earned that
status that you worked so hard to achieve.
You've earned it. It's yours. End of story. And I just think the other federation, without naming names, is it's changed. It's changed into a business. All their income's coming from the athlete. I mean, Just the other day, there's a show locally, 200 pros, okay, 200 professional athletes. Do the numbers, 200 times $250. That's 100. What is that? It's a lot of money. Then equate that to the prize money they're giving. It don't weigh up, Frank. Sorry, and that's before they've got an entry fee. That's before they've got a seat that's sold for the house. That's before they've got any sponsors. You know, come on. Really? The athletes, the only people, there's money in bodybuilding. There is money in bodybuilding, but the only people that are not getting it are the athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all been taken from the athletes, and it's wrong. So all we're trying to do, we're trying to provide an affordable platform, where the membership's $50 and entry fee's $50. So for $100 you can be on stage. Now for $100, if you work your ass off, you have got a chance of earning money. We've got money up for grabs. And 50 grand up for the world. There was $200,000, over $500,000 worldwide this year.
That's amazing.
So, and that's going to go up every year. And we intend to have a lot more shows next year. I won't divulge all the shows, but we've got a lot of shows planned next year. And then our show at the end of the year will be our US finals, basically. And then we'll probably be giving one men's and women's pro card out of that show, and picking a team to go and represent USA at the Worlds. So it's kind of got more of an Olympic feel, you know. We're actually going to have a team, and we're going to go head to head. By then, it's probably going to be 45 or 50 countries. And I'm from England, right? But now I'm American. I've got some pride. I want to go there with a good team.
Of course you do.
So it's very competitive, and it's very exciting, and it gives a lot of people opportunities that probably won't get the opportunities because they're not in that clique, you know.
Now, what show is coming? Tell me what you have coming up. I believe you're 2 weeks out. Tell me about your show. Tell me what's going on.
The show, the last one for us this year, and the last qualifier for the World Championships is my show. So it's our first show in Florida. It's the PCA Florida Classic. It's on August the 25th in Lakeland, Florida, at the RP Funding Center. It's a big venue, a nice big venue. It's going to be a really nice show. We've got some nice trophies, medals. I got Mike Quinn coming to guest judge. I got Vince Taylor's going to be there. I got Bushwhacker Luke's going to be there. Tim Miriello is going to be doing my emceeing.
And that's what I love. You're incorporating a lot of IFBB pros, good friends of yours, who are still supportive of what you're doing, and that's what I love. It seems so different than what other organizations have tried to do. It almost seemed like they wanted to like shun everybody else and do their own thing, but you're involving everybody, and I think that's amazing.
It's still bodybuilding,
I think that's a very smart thing to do.
It's still bodybuilding. I love those guys. I respect them.
Yes.
I looked up to Mike Quinn. Mike Quinn's an idol of mine. Vince Taylor's an idol of mine. I got to compete against both of them, and why wouldn't I? I'm in touch with both of them. I mean, that's bodybuilding to me. Unfortunately, I wish more of my older friends would be involved, but I think they're scared to be involved because of the potential repercussions. So the guys that are coming don't care. They're my friends and they don't care, so they're coming to support me, and I can't thank him enough for it. And you know, at the end of the day, it is bodybuilding. If we have athletes that have just competed in our show in Phoenix, and they've gone on to compete in NPC shows, and we support them, we congratulate them, and we want them to do well. I'm not going to turn my back on them just because they're not competing in my show. Awesome. They're still bodybuilding. I still love the sport. When we're doing posing seminars nearly every weekend to show people the poses and tell them what class they need to be in and all that good stuff. And we've opened it up to all athletes from all federations because we're not, we're new to the country for starters, so I can't say just PCA members only. I limit myself very much, but I just want to meet athletes, and some will come and some won't. And if they just want to come and let me show them pose and then go and compete in the federation, that's fine. I'm still going to enjoy teaching them how to pose. I love bodybuilding.
Awesome. Yep. And you were a fantastic poser too, so you have a lot to offer somebody. And something I never even got a heads up from you. I had to see it online myself. You got one of the most beautiful women ever to grace the industry now in the PCA, correct? Monica Brandt.
Oh, Monica Brandt was involved in the PCA before I was even involved in the PCA.
I did not know that. PCA.
2 years ago, when I was over there for the NABA Universe, I think she competed in the PCA like the week before, and she just joined the NABA Universe team. See, that's the cool thing. PCA will actually support athletes going to other federations. A lot of the officials within the PCA, the judges, the people that help backstage, compete in other federations now. They compete in NABA, and they're very intertwined with the running of the PCA. And that's how open-minded they are, and that's how it should be, in my opinion.
Awesome.
You know, it shouldn't be a dictatorship telling people they have to do this and they can't do this and they can't be friends with this person. That's what you just went through, and I apologize for putting you in that position, by the way. And I respect you for doing it anyway. But
You
I
do
apologize
not have to. I'll tell you what. I think you've gotten to know me. I respect you. There was no way I was not going to do it. So you didn't put me in any situation. You know, as a matter of fact, you even said if it's going to be a problem, you know, let me know. But no, that was when I was with that company. All right, and with that org, you know, I'm very much, I want to get the best products to everybody. And when I'm being told that I can't do a demo or an expo at any organization, I can only do NPC and IFBB and whatever, I don't like it, because like I said, and I know you agree, you love athletes, you love the sport, and I'll go to any show anywhere.
Still the same sport, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
And you know, a company selling supplements, you can't limit yourself to one organization, because what are you doing? You're limiting the amount of people that you can sell to, and it was crazy to me. So when I told you that there was a problem, there wasn't a problem that bothered me, that's for sure. But I wish you so much luck. I've already told you I would love, you know, in the future to be working with you guys and help you out in any way that I can. Just a couple more things, and then, you know, I'm going to let you go. First of all, are you taking sponsors?
Yes, absolutely. We're taking sponsors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sponsors that want to get involved in what you're doing, who would they contact?
Me. Can contact me directly on Facebook or Instagram. Instagram is The Real Ian Harrison. Facebook is just Ian Harrison. Or they can contact me if they go to the official PCA USA website.com website. My information is on there. They can contact me on my phone. But there's also sponsor packages on there. So if anybody wants a booth, we have about 5 or 6 booths left. But yeah, it's going really well. We're going to have a real international flavour. A lot of athletes coming from out of the country. Polish athletes, English athletes. You know, a lot of international athletes. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Now, one more question. For those who maybe didn't know about the PCA until right now, and they want to learn more. Now, you gave the Instagram and you gave the website. Have you guys considered streaming any of the events so that people can watch them and actually see what's happening on stage?
I would love to. I don't even know how to do. We've been that crazy busy setting this thing up since the beginning of the year. I hadn't even thought about it, but yeah, I would love to live stream it. How would I even do that? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys were to stream to your Facebook page or something like that, just so that people can get an idea of the way that your thing runs, I think that'd be a really good idea, because then people could watch and see what you're doing.
I'll get Kevin. Kevin, who we had the interview with last time, I'll get Kevin to go on that, because he's the clever one of the two of us. I'm the brawn, he's the brains. Well, he's the brawn as well.
Because I really think all people need to do, because I'll tell you, every time I post a picture of your pros, people are blown away. What's his name? I call him Viking. He's who am I thinking of? The tall guy with the beard.
Josh Maley.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's
unbelievable.
Yeah. Great, and a super nice guy too. Super nice guy.
Yeah. And right now, I think he's a black guy. Is he the champion right now? What's his name? Do you know his name?
Sean George Tavernier. Yeah, I think he won it last year. The guy that's been winning a lot of shows is Peter Molnar. Peter Molnar is another incredible pro. He's from Hungary, and he's got like a 28-inch waist. He's like 201 pounds. He's just freaky. If he went in
These are guys that can step on an IFBB any stage. It doesn't even have to be IFBB. They can step on any stage, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think
Absolutely.
that's what's shocking people is the quality that you're bringing in, because you're getting people from literally all around the world
Yeah.
getting involved in the PCA. And I'll tell you what, people who are in the United States that truly want to test themselves worldwide, I can't think of a better organization to get involved with now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And get part of that
Anyway,
USA team.
It's very exciting. You're going to have two types of bodybuilder. You're going to get the bodybuilder that just wants to play it safe and get trophies. And then you're going to get the bodybuilder that really wants to test themselves. When I was competing as a pro, I always went for the Arnold Classic or the Night of the Champions because they were the hardest. I never went for the Niagara Falls or one of the easier pro shows because I figured if I couldn't do well in a good qualifier, then I couldn't do well in the Olympia. What's the point? And that's how I thought. And there's bodybuilders like that. And you know what? Those bodybuilders are usually the better ones, to be honest with you. So they're the ones we're going to attract. We're going to attract some quality athletes. It's funny because even in the small, we had a very small show in Phoenix to start with, and we didn't have many athletes, maybe 30 plus athletes. But the quality was incredible. I mean, nobody showed up that wasn't looking amazing. I mean, I was like blown away. And it's like the reputation of the PCA precedes itself, and it's getting a reputation. It really is, and it's exciting. It's a very exciting time for anybody in the sport that wants to really test themselves and do it. We're trying to do it with a real good feel. When I went over to England, the feel good factor backstage, there was no tension, there was no cliques, there was no groups. It was all one, and that's what PCA is about. You know. All our shows, children under 12 will be free because every show across the country, all kids under 12 will be free because you know, if you've got a baby, should you have to pay $50 for that baby to come in? No, but they charge people $50 to carry a baby in, and it's just wrong, you know. So the way I see it, Frank, those 12-year-olds, those 11-year-olds, when they see that bodybuilding stage, they're the next bodybuilders.
Totally.
Because one thing I don't know if you've noticed, in England and in Europe, the standard of junior bodybuilders and teenage bodybuilders is through the roof. I don't see that competition here. I'm not saying there's not good young bodybuilders. There's a lot of good young bodybuilders. But I don't see juniors. I don't see it being a hotly contested class. And I want to bring that back. I had really good memories of being a good junior. And it's close to my heart. I'm very passionate about that class. And, you know, I really want to bring those juniors. And the way to do it is to bring those 12-year-old kids into the show for free and get them to love the sport, and that's what we're going to do.
Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, the past few shows I've been to, the junior classes are maybe one or two kids, not even enough for weight classes. It's just one against the other, and they're not even close to each other in size. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I
really appreciate it, man.
We could talk for hours. We know that. So I'm sure
we do have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. But I wanted to bring attention to your show in, what do we say, 2 weeks? We're about 2 weeks away.
August 25th, so it'll be 1 week on Saturday, August 25th.
There we go. Okay, and I wish you the best of luck with that show, with your team. I'll be following, and like I said, anytime you need me for anything, I'm always here, brother.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Talk soon.
Always an honor. Thank you so much.
Catch you later, bro.
All right, brother.
Bye.